it's over. Do you need anything like I need you? I've got no place to be alone, my friend. He cut his wrist instead. There's your answer. You better save yourself, or else nothing like success. I would rather be in hell than regret. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you? No, I do. But denial, these are not my words. Tell me where are mine? Most of the time, wet my face with reality and permit me to breathe before I do it again. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I
Oh, yo, 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 yo. Let's go. Late night. Late night. How we doing? How we living? Dude, let's go. Dude, sorry so late, but hey, man, I made it. Dude, I did a video after the stream last night. So I drove to Seattle with like 4 hours of sleep. So I was exhausted. Let's go, Will. I was exhausted when I got home, dude. I was so tired. Let's go, baby. But I made it. Took a nap, and here we are. Yo, let's go. feds are hitting the street. Dude, this is it. I'm tired of explaining. It's too late because everyone is waiting.
That's great. So why are you
You're on blue. Did I meet any fans of my channel at the game? No, I did not. No, I did not. I'm relatively unknown, boss, at this point in the political realm. Dude, it's a good game though. It's a good game. It's a nice, I mean, you love to see a 4-run first inning. You know? Got to see a Cal Raleigh homer. I was a little bummed the young guy that I like on the team, Cole Young, wasn't playing today. Dutch Canadian, let's go, baby. You don't speak much, but you're proud. Well, good for you. Welcome, Rambo. Dude, let's go. Is it a long drive to Seattle? It's like 3 hours, 2.5 hours. But we had to go early. We had to go early because they were giving away these plaques for one of their star players. They retired his number. So we had to fucking get up early. Right? You like the hat? Yeah, no, it's a good hat, isn't it? But it was good. So what was good about it is we got to see Brian Wu pitch, right? We got to see a Cal Raleigh home run, right? Josh Naylor hit a home run. Fucking Eugenio, the new guy, batted in a couple RBIs with their clutch hit. And then there's another player I like, Dom Canzone, and he got a hit and ended up getting like the last run in. So it all round we got to see, and then Matt Brash came in and fucking won the game. So we got to see like a lot of really good play, right? Oh yes, a poll for new chat visitors. Have you hit the like button yet? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go. Dude, we do pretty good for likes. I mean, as far as likes go, if you get like 10%, yeah, so the plaque is a little Ichiro plaque. It's pretty cool, actually. You're going to see it. I'm going to put it up there on the shelf. This yesterday's stream. All right, let's go. Let's go, Borrow Bad. Fucking up JD Vance. Dude, JD Vance. Can I just say that JD Vance is so smarmy, guys. He is like the smarmiest fucking... Yeah, dude, this was... Right? Yeah, they announced this too, right? Dude. There was a fucking... Right? Dude, look at this shit. There's a woman umpire. Oh, they're complaining about the fucking strike call, dude. Fuck you, boss. Dude. Dude, sports fans are such geeks, bro. Like, oh my God. She called a strike they didn't like. Dude, it happens all the time. Fucking clowns, bro. You hate those have you hit like yet polls? Why do you hate them? Why would you hate a poll? Why does it bother you? Right? How's a poll? I know, man, umps do that all the time, dude. Like, I see like a couple of those every game. But dude, a woman ump does it and they're like, oh shit. Dude, I like it. I say fuck it. Dude. Sports clowns. You don't hate that poll if you know it helps the creator? Yeah, see, I don't know if that shit actually helps, right? Like, the thing about likes that's really interesting is if you look across videos, right? So in general, because you have to unlock it to read the chat. Oh, got you. Well, so in general, guys, likes are what's far more important on YouTube is watch time. So the likes don't really matter that much. They don't. I mean, if you're doing good right? If you're doing good, if you get 5% likes, right, or 10%, if you get 10%, you're doing amazing, which is incredible. Like we always, like right now, dude, we have like fucking, we're looking at like 30% of the people who have viewed have already liked it, which is crazy. I think the watch time is really the important category, right? That's what YouTube likes. You were told that likes at the beginning of stream will help get your stream in more feeds. Yeah, see, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe, but I think what it is I think your shit gets out there. What I'm actually going to start doing, here's what I'm going to start doing, guys, because here's what I've noticed. So I had done my sort of red thumbnails and I liked them. They were very creative. I thought they were very beautiful. But then about a month ago, Brian Tyler Cohen sent me a message and said, dude, you need to switch off those red thumbnails. Like, I know you like them, but you need to do more regular thumbnails. Okay. And I took his advice immediately, like I always do. And I started making different thumbnails. And you know what's crazy is something has changed with the new thumbnails. Like before, if I had a video get 2,000 views, I would get like 10 new subs. And now if I have a video get 2,000 views, I get like 30 new subs. So the new thumbnails are like more new people are seeing the new thumbnails, the non-red thumbnails. Now I have left the live videos to the red thumbnails like I used to do, but I'm about to switch my live videos to have a picture of me and like more normal thumbnails. And right. And so I'm going to start varying with the thumbnails because I think the thumbnail, if your thumbnail gets clicked on, you will, right. If your thumbnails get clicked on, you will get more reach, right? That's really what it comes down to. It doesn't really have anything to do with likes. I think the two most important things for reach on YouTube is obviously if your thumbnail gets clicked on and then if the viewer watches, right? Those two things. And if those two things happen, then I think the viewers will, like, you'll get reach, right? I think comments matter a lot too. Yeah, I just got you conditioned to look for the red. Ha, let's go. Yeah, I'm going to start varying it. You know what I mean? Oh, because you can make your lives so they get clicked on like after they're done too, you know? But yeah, we're going to do a lot of experimenting. Keith Edwards, pretty bad with AI slop thumbnails. Yeah, but dude, whatever they're doing is working. Dude, Keith Edwards probably has the highest like views to subscriber ratio I've ever seen in the political realm. Okay, Keith Edwards averages like 50% of his subscribers every view count of every video. It's insane, dude. It's insane, bro. Right? Whatever he's doing it. I think the key is you got to just vary it up. You got to keep evolving. Cats in your thumbnails? All right. Dude. No, Keith Edwards, not a fan of him? Yeah, you not a fan of him? Dude, I mean, yeah, like, group of us complained about his phony ass thumbnail and they changed it. That's funny. So, oh yeah, no, Keith definitely does a little bit of clickbait for sure. Right? You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Right? He does. I see. I don't have a lot of time to watch content creators. Like for me, I just sort of look at them like this. Like I try to like I sort of look at the guys that are getting the most growth and views, and I try to like learn that. Because with everything, you can be the best like speaker and YouTuber in the world, and none of that matters unless you learn the algorithm. Like, there is a really specific skill of being able to parse, because the algorithm and the data sort of tells you the type of videos YouTube wants you to make. Like, YouTube gives you information and as to what videos you should make, what videos your audience likes, and you have to be feeding your subscribers, because if they don't watch, you don't get any new viewers. So there's like a paper trail that gets laid out of growth, and YouTube feeds you information. And so what's really interesting is the better that you respond to what YouTube tells you individually to do, the better you perform. So it's crazy, because you sort of have to pay attention to everybody else to see what's hot and what's not hot, and kind of see if there's things performing across all of the YouTube and like how they're titling. And then you have to funnel all that information through your own personal lens to figure out what YouTube wants you to do, because YouTube like sort of figures out what you're good at, and then it feeds you if you do what it tells you to do, right? It's really weird. It's like, it's very fickle, right? Like, I think YouTube tries to grow you if you listen to YouTube. It says like, yeah, this is what you're really good at. And you have to learn how to respond to that, right? You know what I mean? So the risk of getting ignored for stubbornly going along is great. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Right? The AI slop has you not. Yeah. Well, so yeah, that's really that. I mean, it's interesting because the thing that's crazy about it is like you never know what is going to grow you, right? Is he doing the Benny Johnson? Is he doing the AI faces? Because I will say this, like, the only thing I use AI for on thumbnails is upscaling. Okay. I use AI to upscale images so I can use small images and make them fucking, make them look good on a thumbnail, up-resing things. But I don't like use AI created faces for the most part. Occasionally, if I need something really rare, TLDR. All right, nice. But yeah, it's interesting, man. There's definitely a skill to like being a YouTuber. And it's crazy because I see like some people are really good at shorts and some people are really good at long form videos. I don't care about the shorts. I mean, Jenny makes the shorts and they're doing well, but I'm not trying to be good at shorts. I feel like the long form is the thing I want to be good at, because the long form is the thing that has the most infinite growth, right? And there's also, it's financially better off. But I mean, is Keith Edwards starting to do, is Keith Edwards starting to do, like the AI faces like Benny Johnson? Have I paid Google to promote my channel? I have not. So guys, I have never paid either TikTok or YouTube. I've never used paid promotion. I used it once with Facebook, like years ago, like 7 years ago. And what happened with Facebook is I used some Facebook paid promo and it did really well, but then they deleted one of the videos that I was like promoting after I promoted it. And I was like, fuck this, bro. I'm never paying for promo again. I feel like paid promo, you gotta be careful right? You got to be careful with it, because if you use paid promo, that might be the only way. Like, so there's a time for paid promo. You ready? Here's what it is. So the thing is I feel like Ninja did this really well in the gaming world. So when you want to use paid promo is after you're blowing up. When you are blowing up and that shit has hit the peak, at that point you want to do paid promo on every platform so you explode into the stratosphere. But you never want to do paid promo until you are already viral as a motherfucker. Because otherwise, like, paid promo, if nobody knows you, paid promo generally isn't going to do shit. You're going to be, right? It's when people know you that paid promo becomes a useful thing, because at that point you're paying for the saturation instead of paying, right? That's what advertising does. Is advertising is great when there's saturation, but it's not great if you're unknown, right? You need to be known before advertising it becomes of a use, right? You know, that's kind of like in the beginning, what you want to do is you want to be making content on every platform, right? And that's my sort of philosophy is paid promo is about a saturation thing, because there's a trap, right? They're like, if you pay, you'll reach more eyes. But the thing about it is like, generally you won't, you really won't. And there are certain areas where like paid promo can work. Like for example, when I ran a recording studio in town, I would pay for ads in all the major weeklies. But that was different though, because everybody was using those things and everybody was seeing those ads. So that was more about putting yourself into the collective subconscious of the city in these things that everyone uses. But there's so much online promo that if you're not known, online promo is a huge waste of money. It's, you know, they make money on people thinking that they're going to get known that way. I just don't think it works. You know, it's online paid promo is more of a saturation thing. Right? You know? Yeah. Yeah, it's just in the beginning, guys, if you're starting out, what you really want to be investing your time and money in is if you're starting out, you want to be investing in figuring out how the algorithm perceives you, right? Because the thing about algorithms are they're like little, you know, like the Minotaur, when, you know, like Theseus went into the fucking the Minotaur's lair and he left a fucking, you know, a trail so he could find his way out. Like algorithms are like a set of clues and puzzle pieces that, you know, you change variables and then you see how the algorithm reacts. But there's no like singular way to work an algorithm. There is like, you know, each algorithm will tailor individually for you, and then it'll tell you what's working and what's not working. And then your job is to try to be as expressive and free as you can inside the constraints of the algorithm. So you want to make the same videos over and over and over again, but have them be fresh and different. And it's a real skill that takes years to develop. And that's the most important thing that you need to have, is being able to find your voice inside the algorithmic clues of how it's promoting you or not promoting you. And what it's not promoting can provide you as many clues as what it is promoting. You know? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, YouTube algorithms are broken. You get content with people with like 5 subs. Yeah, but so that's good though, 𝗏𝗏. I like that. I think that's good. I think it's good that you get content suggested from smaller accounts. I think that's a good thing. I mean, sure, it might be tiring, but I think that's helpful that they're moving beyond the, you know, because YouTube has notoriously been really hard for new creators. I mean, it still is. You have to put in fucking years, right? You know what I'm saying? No, I did not hear Stephen Miller's wife. Yikes. All right. Dude, she's got to be nasty, bro. You know? Yeah, YouTube was really hard for small accounts. I mean, YouTube is still hard. Like, for example, I say this. If you want to do YouTube, right? What I think you need to do is you need to develop a consistent, right? You have to develop a consistent output schedule that you can maintain, right? And then you have to be ready to do that for about 3 years. Okay? That's what I think. I think you have to invest 3 years of a consistent, regular output, being very consistent, okay, with the number of videos. And you know, you can have slower days or more busy days, but you need to be consistent, but you have to plan it for about 3 years. I think 3 years of like being very consistent and growing and evolving over those 3 years and not counting on making any money, right, in those 3 years. I think it's like a 3-year plan. It really is. I mean, the only reason, like, somebody asked about Tabitha, and I do like Tabitha. The only reason I have grown as fast as I grew, because I feel like we've grown pretty fast in a year, but I was already famous at something. So there was like I already had a presence online that even though I took my fucking, you know, I wasn't showing my face and people didn't necessarily know, and I was trying to reach a whole new audience. I had already done YouTube for, you know, 5 years, okay, in gaming and learned a lot of lessons. And I had also navigated TikTok, but I already had a presence in the online world and a working knowledge of like how to insert myself into the algorithm. And then I got really lucky with, you know, like meeting Brian Tyler Cohen and getting some really good advice from him. And then Tabitha actually helped a lot too. Every time I do like really funny videos, she shares them or does a video about it with her audience. And that's been huge, right? Because that's kind of like, you know, it's like you got to be really consistent and build it. And then you have to wait until you like get noticed, right? By the algorithm or other people, right? And it just takes time. You know, some people will get it noticed in a year. Some people will get it 3 years. Some people it takes 7 years. You know what I'm saying? But which is why what I try to focus on, guys, is I stay primarily focused on the process, which means that what I focus mostly on is creating videos in a way that makes me okay with editing for like 12 hours a day, right? That's the most important thing because I have to, right? I have to edit for like 12 hours a day. And so I have to really like what I'm doing for that 12 hours a day so that 12 hours a day doesn't feel like it's killing me. And so I focus on that, right? I like honing my editing where I have pared back like the amount of editing I do. I try to, you know, vary up the videos and experiment with music and not music, trying to make them faster and cleaner and more efficiently. So I focus all of my energy on making sure I like what I have to do every day and can continue to do it while remaining excited. And then I don't worry so much about the promoting or like, you know, I focus mostly on the work I have to do and making sure I love doing that. Because if you get burned out on making videos, you won't survive the ups and downs, right? The ups and downs. Like the way to survive the ups and downs is because you really like doing what you're doing every day. You like the creation part. And I'm convinced that that's the most important thing, because you don't know how long it's going to take to get noticed or get reached. So yeah, Wet Leg is a really good band. We were listening to them on the way to the game today. Good shit. But so yeah, I try to stay focused on the process. But I've also though had enough things grow, like with music and with Fortnite, that I don't really worry so much about the growth. I don't worry about, I mean, I do worry about learning the algorithm. That's like really important to me, is learning the algorithm, right? Because, you know, it's hard and it's ever changing. Shared the MAGA bros. Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good video. That Charlie Kirk one. Yeah, I like that video. I really like the thumbnail I made for that video. I did something where it was just an accident. Like I was putting a shadow behind the words and I accidentally made the rectangle like yellow, and it made the words sort of look like they were on fire. And I was like, ooh, that's a really happy accident, right? That happens a lot too, where I make a huge mistake and it turns out like to be great. Dude, I love that, bro. But yeah, man, it's just hard though, because you don't get to choose the amount of success, right? You know what I mean? Like I was a great musician and I toured and I put out records, but I just never really achieved a large level of success. But I did it, and I saw the country, and I did it. You know, I was out there touring and shit, booking them myself and driving, and you know, I played all my shows, but I never really made any money, right? And then I did the same thing I did for music with Fortnite, and I did it with film, and I didn't make any money. I never even got a career. It never took off. And then I did it with Fortnite, and it blew up in like 2 years. And now I'm doing the same thing with the politics, and we're not blowing up, but we're definitely having really like very fast, steady growth. And so I'm real happy. But this is like the happiest process, the happiest I've been with my process. So I feel like it has a good long-term potential because I really like what I'm doing now, which I'm glad I like what I'm doing, because I'm working way too many hours. It's like, you know, political YouTube is hard. It's a 7-day-a-week thing, man. It's like crazy. Like, you know, dude, MAGA Shaman and the skater. Oh, dude, the MAGA Shaman one was amazing. Dude, the skateboard. Dude, sometimes you get those little things that are hilarious, dude. That video was so funny. Dude, that's a good video. Well, you know what's funny too about that, Shaves? Is with that video, like I made that thumbnail like several times. Like I made the video and it was a really funny video and it didn't really do well at all. And then I went back and remade the thumbnail like several times and changed the name a few times. And then eventually it like took off, right? Dude. Oh, let's go, dude. Thank you, Willem. I appreciate that. Dude, I'm getting better, right? I'm getting better. If I could change one thing about myself, it would be to become a better speaker so I wouldn't have to edit as much. I'd like to be able to make my videos faster, right? That would be amazing. And somebody was saying earlier that Keith Edwards has a team, and oh, he definitely does. Dude, he definitely does. I mean, you can tell the team, the people who have teams, right? Because they're putting out an insane amount of content. And they fucking, you know, they're like real high subscriber to view ratios. Those are all fucking people with teams, right? Although I will say Brian Tyler Cohen, like he before he built a team, right? Is it really? The cringe is off the charts. All right. Is this a This is Stephen Miller's wife. Oh my God, dude.
Some Marco questions. What's the most surprising thing you've learned about Marco?
He also has a sweet tooth, which, you know, he's in great shape. He works out, but he can, I mean, house ice cream to the point where half the time that I see Marco in the hallway, it's because he's just been down to the Navy.
This is Stephen Miller's wife, dude. Yeah, dude. Like, what the fuck, bro?
And he's gotten a bunch of ice cream.
Marco Rubio is known as a funny jokester.
Dude, you see, you know what's crazy about this is like everybody thinking they're like an influencer, you know?
What's the funniest joke he's told you? Or the funniest moment you've had with him?
Dude,
Okay.
I thought it was USHA.
So you guys will have to determine whether we can actually put this in the final.
Cut it if not. We can cut it if not.
We were talking about something very serious related to the Middle East, and he starts this joke totally deadpan. He's like, you know, I learned something interesting about the Middle East because I had a constituent call a few years ago when I was in the Senate, and a woman was visiting Israel, and her husband died while they were in Israel. And I was like, oh man, that's terrible. And she was trying to get help from us for how to get the body back to the United States. And she said to me, you know, man, I don't know, maybe I don't want it back. The last time somebody sorry, the last time somebody died over here, they rose from the dead 3 days later. And I didn't know until the very end that it was a totally bullshit joke. I was like on the edge of my seat, like what happened with this poor woman and her husband?
Dude, what the fuck, bro? Dude, Jesus jokes are so like, dude, they're so corny, bro. Oh my God.
He's got jokes. He's got a lot of Florida man jokes.
Yeah, he does.
Because, you know, you'll take some crazy story from the Jacksonville Times, and then it ends up you think it's a joke, but it's actually something that...
Dude, I want to see JD Vance give Marco Rubio a knobby. That's what I want to see. Yeah, no, that is some cringe, bro.
actually happened in the Florida Panhandle.
Jesus. Dude, I mean, I'll say this, though. She's not any worse than Lara Trump, right? But what is with these fucking eyebrows, bro? Dude, yikes. Yeah, dude, yeah, not my cup of tea. I don't understand. I don't know, man. It baffles me with the right wingers, the way the people that they like. I don't know how you look at these people and enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of a demented person? You know, I mean, it's like the same with Donald Trump, right? What kind of person looks at Donald Trump and sees like a capable, powerful man? Like, that is like wild to, you know, that it's like a wildly insecure and bitter and like very like no self-awareness. You know what I mean? No self-awareness whatsoever. And you know, and they're like, they see him and think like he's capable, and he's like, you know, they admire him, and it's like, who, how, right? How do you admire somebody who is so incapable and so oblivious, right? I mean, even beside his nasty behavior. Yeah, everybody's like emulating him. Dude, I have these mini Funyuns. Have you guys ever had these? Holy shit, dude. They're so good. Mmm. All right. Dude, Vance definitely got picked on a lot. This is her, yeah. Yeah, dude, I could see Elon banging her. I mean, I could see her banging Elon. Dude, who the hell would have sex, right? Who the fuck would have sex with Stephen Miller? Like, that is a scary endeavor, guys. You know? You know what I'm saying? That is a frightening endeavor to think about somebody who would have sex with fucking Stephen Miller. Like, that guy is so gnarly. He is, dude. He is one of the scummiest, scoundreliest, like, people out there, bro. Like, so, so smarmy. Yeah. He is, dude. He is like smarmola, bro. Imagine your wife banging Elon. So yeah, so I don't know about this, but I know that Elon, I don't think he has sex with the women. I think he inseminates them when he has kids, right? I don't think Elon has sex with women. But I will say this, though. What we're seeing is we're seeing the opportunists, okay? Is you may have noticed that you know, Marsha Blackburn and you know, Nancy Mace, they're basically trying to carry Trump's laundry for him in hopes that he's going to win them a political endorsement so they can win governorships, right? That's what's really, like, fascinating, is seeing the people that are trying to emulate Donald Trump and thinking that they're going to be able to turn that into political power and clout and shit. Right? Consider stand-up. Dude, I would love to do stand-up shaves. It's a lot of work, though. You know, by the way, if you guys, you know, it's a lot of work and years of a grind, and I just feel like I'm a little too old to, like, I don't want to put in that grind. You know, this, at my age, like, being in front of a camera in my home office is really awesome, but going on tour as a comedian and, like, the daily writing you have to do to be good at it, because you got to write daily, and then you got to go work that muscle out in front of the crowd and hone it, and you have to go on tour and shit. Like, stand-up is a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work. Like, a lot of, you know, you see these guys when they have specials, but you don't see them doing the small clubs for, like, 15 people going across the fucking country. It's like, it's not easy. I mean, to do it well, you have to really become a master of the craft. And I don't really want to do that. I don't want to leave my girlfriend and go on tour and shit. You know, I like it in the context of, like, I like my life being tethered to my home. I really enjoy that. It's one of the things I love, and Jenny works from home too, so we're connected. But I do like it. You know what I'm saying? I do fucking I feel like it would be something to investigate, that, like, if I ever had the, you know, if I was ever in a financial situation, it's a lot of work, though, right? Being a stand-up comedian. By the way, speaking of stand-up comedians, Mark Maron has a new special on one of the streamers. And let me just tell you that Mark Maron is, like, the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of his comedy special where he goes off on Trump is one of the fucking funniest things. Dude, yeah, I am funny, but you know, Shaves, you know what my skill is? My skill is being funny in the moment, which is why streaming is really, really good. I think comedians are, you know, being funny in the moment is helpful to comedians. Like, what I'm good at would be very helpful if I'm a comedian, but comedians have a whole other skill set of writing and rehearsing and timing that is really something I would have to learn that I don't have. I'm an improv guy, right? I show up and just start riffing in front of an audience, but being a stand-up person there's a much more disciplined side of it that's really important, dude. Yeah, dude, the beginning of the Marin thing was amazing, right? You know what I mean? Dude, the beginning of the Marin thing was so good, where he goes off on Trump. Oh, shit, it was good. Dude, but yeah, the comedians, though, it's like, you know, we'll see. You never know. You never know what the next incarnation is, right? Yeah, it's just there was a while back that Gary Goldman, and I was like watching him on fucking, you know, on Twitter as he was like honing his act and shit. It's like really hard. Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna do comedy, like I'd also have to relocate. I'd have to go to Los Angeles or New York or Chicago. I think I'd probably go to New York City if I were gonna do it, right? I feel like I'd go to New York. You know, you have to go to one of those major cities for sure. And then you have to go on tour, man. That's an important part. The touring, nobody ever sees the touring, right? Dude. Dude, let's go. Do I know Hal Sparks? I don't. I mean, I've seen him online, but I don't know him personally yet. All right, let's watch some of this shit. Dude, today was just a crazy fucking day, bro. All right? Dude, everybody's pissed because they're pissed about the cheerleaders. What is this link? Oh, yeah, this one? Yeah, I saw that one. That one's pretty good. Dude, I like the Trump thing. The fucking, the Trump beginning. Dude. All right. Hold on. We'll come back to that. Fuck you, Trumpy. You like that? All right. I want to get on this JD Vance clip. Hold on. I gotta get honed. I can't get sidetracked real quick. So while we're on the Mark Maron thing, let's look at this one real quick. Let's see what he says about the anti-woke comedians.
I've been seeing like Jeselnik having an issue with people like Tony Hinchcliffe, who he's saying uses profanity or just shock value comedy. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, at this point, it's lazy and sloppy and hackneyed. You know, to be in a fucking club where, you know, I'm walking down the hall at the comedy club, at the Comedy Store, and, you know, in one room, someone's doing their bit about trans people, and then I get down the hall and there's someone on stage going, well, I guess I got to do my bit about trans people. Like, no, you don't. You don't. It's hack now. I mean, you know, you guys got the freedom you wanted.
It's true.
You can now say whatever you want. They're defeated. Their rights have been denied. The policies that you guys encouraged with your stupid material are now policy. And now, like, you know, half the people under the umbrella of anti-woke, we've lost a tremendous amount of democratic-leaning ideas and movements. So whether they knew it or not, that's what they were spearheading. So now it's reality, and you want to still keep kicking them?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know that the comedian.
Dude, he's right. He's right. It's like, dude, you know what's crazy about that too is with the anti-woke shit is it becomes about tropes, right? And then everybody's doing the same bit about the same couple of tropes, right? Like, how many tampon jokes can you have, right? How many like lady ballers jokes can you have? To where everybody's just, there's no originality to it, right? Because it just is centered around tired fucking things that people have held on to that don't necessarily have a bearing, a reality and truth, right? And you know, I don't know, dude. It's the whole concept of anti-wokeness. Yeah, pronoun jokes, you know, or you have like, you know, you have somebody like Charlie Kirk who's like crying. I mean, he's not a comedian, but he's crying about what pronouns did to him, you know? And it's like, dude, are you shitting me? By the way, if you guys like Mark Maron, can I just suggest to you on Hulu, I think it is, or one of the streaming services, there's a show called Stick that is Owen Wilson and Mark Maron, and it's a really good show. It's in the golfing world about this washed up golfer who tries to redeem himself by helping a young kid get into the pros. But it's a really like great show about dads, about having a father and being a father. Highly recommend it. It's called Stick. It's really good. I saw it and I was like, holy fucking shit, this show is good. But yeah, there's watching people have such a conniption about being able to do the most boring, mundane, and predictable shit is really, I don't know, it's sad. You know, it reminds me of what Charlie Kirk said the other day, where he read all those things about Trump that were like so anti-feminist. But it's like, dude, you just listed like the most cliche elements of manhood that like there are so many men that do those cliche things and they're not interesting at all. Okay. The interesting men do none of that shit. Okay. Everybody wearing a red tie and refusing to apologize and being a womanizer, like it's just not interesting anymore. You know, it was interesting in 1970, but now it's just played out, dude. You know, it is. It's like a fucking light blue polo shirt with tan Dockers, bro. You know what I mean? If you wear a light blue fucking button down shirt and tan Dockers, you look like a fucking idiot. Okay? You do. You look like every boring guy who can't get laid and fucking doesn't have any like interesting hobbies. You know what I mean? You literally look like you just, I'm so afraid of carving a niche for myself, right? I'm so afraid of carving a fucking, like a unique look that I am going to literally just do the John Smith of outfits. And I'm going to stop there, right? That's it. That's as far as I'll go expressing myself is fucking, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, like, why would you do that? We don't need any more men wearing light blue shirts and tan fucking Dockers, bro. We need like negative men doing that. Right? Dude, like, oh my God, bro. Kill me now, dude. Every vagina in fucking iShot's gonna dry up the minute you walk down the street in that outfit, bro. You're just like, you know.
Have had that much power.
Are you fucking out of your mind?
No, I'm being serious.
I'm not gonna.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, you can't separate.
Oh,
like,
here we go.
I'm not gonna.
Much power.
You keep kicking him.
I don't know that the comedians have had that much power.
Are you fucking out of your mind?
No, I'm being serious.
I'm not gonna.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know, you can't separate. Like, if the movement is like, you know, we're being censored. No, you're not. You're not. There's no constitutional censorship issue with your free speech. You say things, and in a democratic shit show of an environment, you know, like Twitter or whatever, there's cultural pushback. And
yes.
I'm not saying that it wasn't. It was pretty bad in terms of, you know, people getting canceled and stuff, and I agree that was an issue, but that's a specific issue. To frame it as some sort of free speech problem was a misdirect. It wasn't. It wasn't a free speech problem. It was that people were getting cultural pushback.
Yeah, you had a right to say whatever you want, but if you harshed on marginalized people, crowds would flee from you and be like, you're a fucking asshole. Right? And they're, but you're free to fucking do that. You're free to keep doing that. But they're like, you want to be able to just be nasty and kick the fucking most wounded people in society and have everybody not hold you accountable. Like, Please. Like and what's crazy about this, you ready? You ready? What's crazy about this, guys, is these same free speech people that cry about free speech, the minute you say something that offends them, they want to put you in jail, right? Like that woman who said, I'm Guatemalan before I'm American. And they're like, they want her removed from the house. Or if you say Donald Trump's a rapist, they want to put you in prison, right? You know what I mean? If you say the Bible is a fucking piece of shit clown book, they're like, no, dude, you need to, right? And it's like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, right? Oh, shit.
That is not a constitutional issue. No one was being put in jail for saying anything. That's a free speech issue. But my problem is you're going to start talking about anti-woke, and that's going to be your point of view. That's going to be your ideological, grounding for what you do. Okay, that's fine. But why does it have to be the same four fucking things? It's like they talk about the same shit. And I don't know a better definition of hack.
Oh, shit. Dude, yeah, no, that line, you do realize we annoyed the average American into fascism. That line was in his comedy special. And I thought that line was funny, right? Because, there is some truth to that us advancing society has made, the average American be willing to sacrifice themselves. You know what I mean? I mean, there is some truth to that. That advancing society has made the average American, they got so frustrated by it that they made really fucking horrible choices. You know what I'm saying? But what's funny about it is so what? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, man. I know people are annoyed by social advancements, especially people that are fucking, Bible thumpers. But I mean, dude, I see it. I feel like I see it too. It's definitely a leftism. I mean, the right wing has it differently, but what it is leftists are very proactive in their political belief system. So what happens is leftists will attack anything that they feel is fucking anti-humanitarian, right? And they'll attack and can be quite relentless. I mean, I get it. The people that are further left than me, but it goes both ways. People that are less far left than me will attack me for my leftism, and people that are further left than me will attack me for my, perceived centrism, right? And the thing about the right wing is I think it's different because they don't have any standards, right? You know what I'm saying? The right wingers don't have any standards. They just agree with the racial and gender hierarchies put by in the Bible, right? And you know what I'm saying? They agree with the racial and hierarchies and in the Bible, and then they don't have any other standards other than that, And whereas, with the left-wing voters is they, depending on the issue, right? It could be abortion, it could be women's rights, it could be genocide, it could be, support of the Democratic Party for a centrist ideal, or maintaining capitalism is a centrist liberal ideal. And so whatever things are really important to the people, they're more likely, the left-wingers are more likely to call out their, people that are offending their sensibilities, right? Whereas the right people attack people's core, and I think the left-wingers attack people's behavior. But what the problem is is I think some people don't separate their core from their behavior. So, right, like, you know, if I'm talking about, if I say something and, you know, my leftist son calls me out for misogyny, I don't hear him telling me that I am a fucking misogynist, horrible person. I hear him like focusing on my behavior, which is a very changeable thing, right? But if there are a lot of people who don't separate their behavior from who they are. And so I think the leftism, it's not even that leftists are more attacky. I think that leftists are more likely to notice a behavior and call out a behavior. And a lot of people that are not educated or not emotionally evolved, they hear that as their like intrinsic value being called out, and they don't react well to it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I think, you know, but you know, it's interesting though, because what I found is like on the left, especially being a political streamer, I find that there's a dance that we have to do where, you know, I have a set of views, and some of my views like make far left people mad at me, and some of my views make centrist people mad at me. And so I am constantly navigating a pathway between my far left self and my centrist self. Right? It's wild. You know, it is. It's like, because I have elements of both, right? Like I can see the value in both. I can see the times to be far left, and I can see the times to be centrist. Like I think there's value in both. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just code switching. You know, it's code switching, but I guess as a political content creator, you have to be careful, because you're building a community, right? Like, for example, if I were to go dooming, right? If I were to go dooming, like just constant doom, it would build a community of people that like doom, right? And what centrist ideals are worth entertaining? So the thing about it is, Natalie, is I believe in my life, there are times when you need to put a stick of dynamite in things and blow it up. And there are times when you need to proceed really slowly and carefully. And not everything is like needs a stick of dynamite and blow it up. And sometimes, you know, so sometimes centrism is just slowing down and like going in inches instead of yards, moving in inches instead of yards. And so, like, there are a lot of times, and especially when you have people that are quarreling, centrism can work out disagreements. I play a lot of centrism in my relationship here, being part of a step family. I mean, there are times when I'm very extreme in forcing conflict or forcing things ahead, but there are also times when being a centrist and you know, like not forcing either side to have to conform to the other side it can be useful, right? It's not as far as like political ideals, but I'm talking about the actual behavior, right? Because the thing that's really challenging about being a Democrat is like being, so a core centrist principle is like slow change, okay? Is like not completely abandoning the system and slow change. And there are some times where slow change can actually be really beneficial. And there's sometimes where slow change, you know, like radical change, it can be very, very good, but it also can produce a whole bunch of unpredictable variables, right? But what's hard is that like there's always going to be centrists in the Democratic Party and on the left side in America. You know what I mean? And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're always going to have to deal with centrists. So it's like, if I want to be a far leftist and I want my far left ideals to take hold, I have to learn how to work with centrists, you know, if I want to, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, it's like, it's, you know, it's just the way it is. I mean, I look at it as like, you know, yeah, I don't know. I think the Democratic Party is hard because there's a lot of different kinds of people and they're never going to all agree. They just aren't, right? They're never going to all agree, you know, and what's more is we have a political system that, you know, whether it's good or bad, it's currently working, right? It's working in some way. I mean, our government is still here. We're not like, we still have a, you know, I don't know, we still have a somewhat functioning country. It's getting harder. It's definitely, there's a lot more obstructionism happening. And now with the gerrymander wars, it'll be interesting to see what the next 10 years is. Well, it's just hard. I mean, here's what's hard is now that there's more media sources, there's like there's a lot more warring factions, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, much of centrism is being too chicken shit to pick a side. Yeah, and I mean, I get that, but the thing about this though, that's hard is too restrictive with censoring. Dude, I'm sorry about that. Let's go, Pendulous. But I guess the thing is I don't think you're wrong with that it is too chicken shit to pick a side. However, like sometimes people are just chicken shit and you can't, you know, you can't abandon everybody who's chicken shit because you're not going to have a very big coalition. You know what I'm saying? Which is hard, you know what I mean? And so like, I mean, the reality is not everybody's bold and not everybody's going to be bold. Right. And, you know, and so I think here's what's hard. You ready? So what's hard is this is an unfortunate thing, but most people are afraid of conflict. Okay. Most people are actually afraid of conflict. And so they will, depending on who they're with, they will take the least conflicting route. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and it causes a lot of problems, right? A group of guys will go out and a couple of the guys will start being douchey and all the other guys will just not say anything because they don't want to create conflict, you know? And it's like, it's hard, right? Yeah, the go along to get along. Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard. I don't know, man. It's like, I mean, it's hard because I'm a very confrontational person. So that's always a challenge for me. Like how to be like, you know, how to be like when to be not confrontational. You're free to speak. I'm free to tell you how ignorant you are. Dude, that's so funny. It wouldn't put it in a thing. Dude, you're only afraid of conflict with your girlfriend? Yeah. Well, so it's I mean, it's challenging because sometimes conflict can be really useful and sometimes conflict can be really damaging. And you know, it's like, I don't know, man. It's hard. There are times where diplomacy works and there are times where diplomacy doesn't work. But so the thing though that's really hard about, like, I think progressivism is there, like I said, there's a lot of marginalized people that are in the Democratic Party. So like some of these things that we consider political issues are life and death to the people in our party. And that's where it gets dicey, right? Or life and death to human beings on Earth. You know what I'm saying? And like, so it's like, it's really fucking, it gets really complicated because, you know, we look at things like people look at trans rights as a political issue, but if you're a trans person, it's your life. You know what I mean? It's the difference between life and fucking death. It's not a political issue. You know what I'm saying? It's like, goddamn, bro. That's like you being told you can't go to the fucking doctor. You can't hold a job. You can't use the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what the fuck? You said you're sick of seeing homeless people? Dude, do you want to leave? Is that what you want to do? Are you asking to be fucking shown the door? Dude, you're sick of seeing homeless people? What do you think the homeless people are sick of, bro? Right? Come on, man. There. Come on, man. Dude, they have it tough, bro. Dude. Yeah. Give them a home? Oh, all right. No, I'm with that. I see what you're saying. You're sick of like knowing there's a homeless problem. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just being a fucking douchey. I know. I'm just giving you shit because I do it. But yeah, dude, it's like that's where it gets really hard. I mean, I just think though, I know they didn't. I was just fucking around. I think that like for me, I've always felt like civil rights is the basis, right, of my sort of political belief, is that civil rights is the basis and that like the socialism should be for the poor because we know there's socialism in America. It's just it all goes to the rich. And that bothers me, you know? But dude, yeah, the Mark Maron special though, I like it. I like it. But dude, you know, it's hard, man. Dude, politics is hard. It is. So let's fucking look at JD Vance, dude. He did that Bartiromo interview. Oh, I think there's a clip actually. I don't need to go to RuPaul. Somebody put the link in. Right? Oh, there it is. Oh, it is RuPaul. All right. Let's go. All right, here we go. So this shit, see, dude, we gotta, there's something that is so obvious about this that's crazy because let's watch this, okay? Let's watch this clip. And then I have a little commentary about this that may not be that obvious, okay, to people, but it's true.
Full transparency, but I have to say, Maria, I laugh at the Democrats who are now all of a sudden so interested in the Epstein files. For 4 years, Joe Biden and the Democrats did absolutely nothing about this story.
They did prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell. So for him to say they did nothing, the only reason Ghislaine Maxwell went to prison, the only reason the victims got any fucking like justice whatsoever was because of the Democratic fucking Department of Justice. If Donald Trump had won in 2020, Ghislaine Maxwell would not have gone to prison. She would not have been prosecuted. She would be sipping fucking champagne on a yacht, on her father's yacht in fucking the Mediterranean or some shit. And we all know this. So now, after she was prosecuted and started appealing, it did make it so, you know, obviously they weren't going to release the Epstein files in the middle of her appeals, right? And yes, Ron Wyden has been going through the bank records. That's a very good point. So this idea that the Democrats have said nothing or have done nothing is really more the fucking right wing, hand jive. And yeah, they were dealing with J6. They were dealing with bringing the economy back, getting the supply chains working again. Fucking right. I mean, you know, fixing the wreckage of Donald Trump's term.
We know that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of connections with left-wing politicians and left-wing billionaires.
Now, this concept here, right? Because he said, we know that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of connections with left-wing politicians and left-wing billionaires. But guys, you ready for this? Donald Trump was a left-wing billionaire, guys. in the time of Jeffrey Epstein. Don't forget that. Donald Trump was a leftist. He was a left-wing billionaire, okay? He was a billionaire around the Taj Mahal times. He was a leftist. He was friends with Bill Clinton. He was friends with those fucking people. He's a recent convert to right-wing. So yeah, he did have some contact with some left-wing billionaires, and one of them was Donald fucking Trump, bro. He was yeah, I know, but he's using left-wing to denote Democrat. That's what he's talking about, right? Democrat billionaires and Democrat political things. I'm just using his language, right? Democrats are left-wing compared to the fucking Republicans, all right? Let's not mince on the language. But you know what I'm saying? He was not a right-wing figure, okay? He was not a right-wing figure at all. He was a womanizing, abortion-believing, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? He was an abortion-supporting, womanizing, fucking, like, not a, he was not a fan of George Bush and fucking, like, Ronald Reagan and that shit. He probably didn't mind Reagan, because Reagan, like, got rid of the corporate tax and fucking allowed him to be a fucking financial shyster. But he didn't like those guys. I mean, you got to remember, guys, at the time in the 90s, okay, in the 90s when Trump was hanging out with Epstein, the right-wing guys were stodgy, okay? They were the chaste. Like, I would never cheat on my wife. I would never fucking hang out with porn stars. Okay, dude, he was like cheating and sleeping around. He was the furthest thing from a Republican, okay, in the 90s when he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, right? Dude, it's so crazy, right?
And now President Trump has demanded full transparency from this, and yet somehow the Democrats are attacking him and not the Biden administration, which did nothing for 4 years.
Was it the right move for Comer to send subpoenas to the Clintons?
It absolutely was, and it drives home how, while the Democrats have tried to make this Epstein thing about anything but, the fact that Democrat billionaires and Democrat political leaders went to Epstein Island all the time, who knows what they did.
Yeah, but here's the deal. We don't care. We're fine with Democrat billionaires and Democrat political leaders going to fucking prison if they fucked teenage girls, right? Republicans too. Like, you know what I mean? We're not going to defend a Democrat, right? Because they're a Democrat if they were, engaged in sex crimes with teenage girls. Okay? Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here?
But it's totally reasonable to ask these questions. What you saw in the House's subpoena is they are trying to investigate all of the things related to this particular case. I know a lot of Americans want answers. I certainly want answers. And I think James Comer and the team of the House, they're doing the right thing. And of course, we know that Clinton, or allegedly he went to the island 26 times, 28 times. Totally appropriate for Comer to be asking what was going on at that island.
Dude, see, the thing about this, right, is like, yeah, no, I know. It would have been political persecution. I mean, they always run a two sides goalpost move, okay? Because, like, when Donald Trump broke the law and he was charged for it, it was political persecution. It was lawfare. It was like, weaponized judicial system, this, that, and the other. Now that Donald Trump is president and every day there's a new investigation and a new threat of charges against every person who's ever said anything bad about Trump, like 50 people are now under investigation. It's not lawfare. It's like, right? But they also simultaneously say shit like payback's a bitch, right? Like right? They're just so fucking confused or whatever. And yet they never accomplish anything. Like, look at what they did with Benghazi. Okay. They had like so many hearings over that shit. Look at what they did with Hunter Biden. 2 years of Hunter Biden. And they got him on a charge that any one of us could go down for. Like lying on a fucking permit application. Like, come on, bro. Dude, Dude, we all lie on permits, whether it's a gun permit or your housing permit or your fucking, you know what I mean? Like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, goddamn, dude, we've all done that. Okay? Every single one of us. You know what I mean? Every, like, half of Congress has lied about their addictions when they get a gun permit. Like, what are you talking about? That is the most common fucking thing out there. 2 years of whistleblowers and fucking dick pics and dredging him, you know, shredding him in the media and all that, and fucking Bobulinski, the big guy, and fucking the canceled checks. And all they had was nothing. Right? They got nothing. They got him on a fucking a paperwork violation. Dude, all right. Let's go, Pendulous. Dude, let's do a fucking dance party goal. All right, let's go. Fuck it. All right. I fucking haven't done that shit. We'll do a dance party goal. But yeah, dude, they like these guys, they're so inept, right? And what they do though is we've seen what they do. Right? There's the goal. Let's go, baby. $2. And we've seen what they do, though, guys, because the Republicans operate in what I like to call a closed perfect loop system. Okay? Because here's what they do. They stir, like, you know, controversy. We're investigating these people. And then the investigation of them is treated like justice is at hand, like these people are going to jail. And then they have no evidence. So then their investigation ultimately goes nowhere, and there's never any indictments, and nobody ever goes to jail. And then they blame it on the deep state, right? Well, yeah, we caught them dead to rights, but they're so entrenched that we can't actually punish them. So then we're going to investigate them again. You know, let's go. Risco, appreciate you, boss. Let's go, baby. Pendulous, almost. You're number 2, baby. So close, dude. But you know what I mean? So they have that closed system of investigate, and then people are like, they're going to jail, and then there's no evidence, so the investigation never goes anywhere. And then it's like, ooh, the deep state fucking confounded us again. And then investigate, deep state, right? And then the fact that Trump's evidence is there and he gets indicted and get charged, they're like, ooh, the deep state planted all that shit, right? But dude, it's like, my God. And what they're doing now with Obama and this shit, dude, Willem, let's go. Dude, with the whole like Clinton and Obama, this conspiracy about the elections, dude, there's nothing there. Okay, they have nothing on Obama. They have nothing on fucking elections, but they're spreading so much disinformation that it's just so out of control, dude. It is like out of control. Dude, it is. And it's going to go nowhere. But one thing I will say, though, here's one thing I will say, guys, is it's become very obvious, okay? It has become very obvious that that the MAGA people, MAGA Republicans, they want all of us Democrats, all of us, to be dragged by our hair through the streets in handcuffs. They want us to be physically abused, and they want to watch us get like thrown into jail, even if we haven't done anything wrong, like simply for being a Democrat, simply for supporting transgender people, simply for believing that immigrants should be treated like human beings. They want to like physically harm us and lock us all up. Like if they started herding Democrats into alligator Alcatraz camps, none of the MAGA people would even bat an eye. They would be cheering. They would be outside cheering, right? They really do have, like, their bloodlust is really wild, dude. It's like wild. Like they could, if lynchings got brought back, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like they wouldn't complain about it. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I really feel like they wouldn't they would be fine with the return to lynching, you know? Dude, it's pretty wild. Like I said, I've not seen that blood loss. Like, they have dehumanized us to the point of where, you know, they could watch us get harmed and they don't care, right? You know, are there any other Epstein clips? Oh yeah, here's a clip, right? Let's see. Did he? Oh no, there's the fucking. He did have a podcast where he talked about releasing the Epstein files. See, I find it really interesting. You know, I find it really interesting that they all had the turn. You know, they definitely, Republicans, I've never quite seen them with a turn. You know, I have not seen them with a turn like that. Oh, here's where they're talking about the meeting about the Epstein files. Because we know Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, J.D. Vance, and Todd Blanche, of course they were talking about fucking Epstein. Okay? Who's Epstein's niece? I don't know who is put a link to it. Let's watch.
Give us some clarity on this meeting that is reportedly happening or happened last night at the White House about the Epstein files and how you're communicating.
Dude, his laugh when he is covering a lie, look at how fake that laugh is, bro. Oh my God, dude. Look at how fake that shit is, bro. Dude, that shit, that is some of the fakest shit. Dude, he is like, oh, dude, so phony, bro. Oh my God.
Give us some clarity on this meeting that is reportedly happening or happened last night at the White House about the Epstein files and how you're communicating the Epstein story.
So I've seen so many different fake reports about this. So let me set the record straight. There was no meeting at my house last night. There just wasn't.
Was there a meeting at the White House?
We did meet at the White House yesterday, but not at the time that they said that we were going to meet, and not about the subject that they said that we were going to meet about. We have a great...
Yeah, not at the time they said. Oh, that's very convincing. You met, they said the meeting was 6, you met at 5:30, therefore we must have gotten it all wrong. Dude, yeah, we pushed it forward by 30 minutes, therefore they're all wrong. And we didn't meet about Epstein, we met about Ghislaine Maxwell's story covering for Trump. We never actually talked about Jeffrey Epstein. Like, oh, okay, yeah, oh yeah, all right, dude. Jesus, dude. They're fucking clown show.
FBI director and a great Department of Justice lead, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and we met to talk about how to ensure we have justice for the American people. We actually didn't talk about the Epstein issue at all. That was never meant to be the subject of the meeting. And it's one of those things where I guess somebody leaked a calendar entry maybe, and then people assumed that it must have been about Epstein, even though it had nothing to do with it.
Oh, yeah. Kash and Bondi and Todd Blanche and J.D. Vance. We know what it was about. If Todd Blanche was there, dude, it was about fucking the Epsteinery.
On the Epstein issue, what the president has said very clearly, because we've had other meetings about that, is that he wants us to be fully transparent and he wants the credible information out there. So we're...
The credible information. See, this is their wordplay. He wants the credible information out there. Credible, in this case, is like their waste, fraud, and abuse line, where credible information is any information that doesn't implicate Donald Trump, okay? If it implicates Donald Trump, or if it implicates somebody in Donald Trump's circle that he needs to protect, it's not credible, right? And that's the kicker there, okay? Is to them, anything that has Trump in it is not credible. Or anything that disagrees with what Trump wants the narrative to be is not credible.
Working to compile the thousands and thousands of documents that are out there for full transparency. But
see, the thing about this, when you said his wife needs to be ashamed, let me just tell you what his wife is his wife, we don't know what their story is, but JD Vance is trying to fast track the presidency. So his wife is obviously along for that ride. Like, she wants that power of being the first lady. She wants that power that comes with that. So I don't think she fucking cares about any of this, because she's probably after that power or whatever they're trying to do from the Catholic religion. You know what I mean? And she may very well be like a beard, like Ruthless said, right? She could very well be a beard, you know, because I would not be surprised if JD Vance was like in bed with Peter Thiel. Like really. I mean, if you've seen him when he was younger with the baby fat, like the chances of JD Vance and Peter Thiel. So a beard is a woman that is the straight wife of a gay man who can't be gay, right? That's what a beard is. So like if JD Vance was gay and actually, you know, like really in love with Peter Thiel and having a relationship with Peter Thiel, but he can't be a Republican politician and be doing that. So he would have a wife that was like his fucking straight wife, you know? And I mean, dude, he really seems like I could see him and Peter Thiel for sure being, you know what I mean? Capable of, you know, whatever. Dude, they call it love, tech love, right? But yeah, dude, I think the chances of JD Vance being straight are like very slim. Right? Dude, Peter Thiel is frightening, man. He is frightening, dude. He is like so, I don't know, so craven. You know what I mean? Oh, shit, dude. This shit they're trying to pull too.
And that is why President Trump said that he wants more work or new work on a new census.
Yes.
How does that change the GOP makeup and the electoral votes?
Yeah, so another crazy thing that I had no idea about, but everybody, even Democrats actually admit this, that the census in
Dude, nobody admits this.
2020 had a major statistical error. And what that meant is that you actually undercounted a few states that are Republican, like Florida and Ohio. You overcounted some blue states. And so what I understand, if you actually did the census anew right now, you would have 10 additional Republican seats and 9 fewer Democrat seats.
Dude, they're trying so hard to they're trying so hard to hold the House. Yeah, who was president in 2020? Yeah, it was Donald Trump. They forget that. It is total bullshit. There was no statistical fucking error. And they are desperately, they know they're getting their clocks cleaned, bro. And they are desperately trying to fucking protect themselves. Hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom. Dude, enjoy your tune. I'll be back in a minute. Hang tight.
My heart's unbreaking. Your radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. You're radiant. Baby, radiate.
Let's go.
I know that you will
Understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking.
You're radiant. You're radiant.
Let's go. Little eucalyptus. Good idea. Good idea. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Dude. On Spotify. So, yes, I have some music on Spotify. It is, I'll give you a link to it. It is right here. It's called The Wanteds. There is a cover band from Brazil that uses the same name, but there are some links to Apple Music and Spotify, or you can search the records. Now, it's not the stuff you hear here. The stuff you hear here is earlier shit. The stuff on Apple Music and Spotify is even better than the shit you hear here. Let Go Afterglow is my solo record from 2004, and Failure Looks So Good is a 3-man band version of The Wanteds from 2008. And so eventually I'm going to be able to play that music here too. I'm going to try and get this channel exempted. I just haven't gone through the rigmarole with that. But yeah, man, dude, this shit is crazy. Dude, so what is this? Oh, this is Hoko. Yeah. Dude, she's talking about this. I mean, dude, we know that they are, right? We know that they are fucking trying desperately to create, you know what I'm saying? They're trying desperately to create like some technicality. I'm the Wanteds. Right? But you're not going to be able to search the name. If you search the name, you're just going to get a British pop band. You got to use the links to find it or search for the albums. But it was the Wanteds. It was plural. Single guy, plural band name. Need to process some trauma involving triggered by eucalyptus. Oh yeah, dude, I love eucalyptus. That shit is my jam. Dude, look at this guy. He says as more and more undocumented are deported from our nation, it'll give the opportunity for more citizens of our country to take these jobs. But like, dude, we're practically at peak employment. We don't have a whole bunch of people looking for fucking work. And we certainly don't have a whole bunch of people that want to do itinerant farm labor. And you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, these guys are such fucking clowns.
Do you want to see the president create carve-outs for illegal migrants who have been here for years, working on farms or in construction? Do you support that?
I don't believe if you entered our country illegally, that is a crime. You should be held accountable for that.
It is not a crime. All right. Being undocumented is not a crime. There is no criminal penalty for being undocumented. Just so you know, it is a civil violation, right? You cannot be imprisoned. You cannot be put in jail. There is no jury trial. It is not a criminal offense. Okay. It's like driving with your vehicle unregistered. It is a civil offense. It's a paperwork violation.
Current laws require that individual to go back to their home country and apply for citizenship just like everybody else. That's the way it should be done. We are one of the most liberal countries in the world, allowing migration into our country, over 1 million a year that legally come into our country. Those that come here illegally should not be afforded the opportunity to stay in our country.
Even though we've seen farms and construction companies just not having enough workers to get their business going.
Well, and if you look at the numbers, you're seeing more and more citizens of our country come into the labor market. And
Oh, yeah, more and more citizens are looking for the itinerant farm jobs. Incorrect there, fucknuts. Sorry, Abe Lincoln. Not true.
come into the employment market. So there's a lot of argument to be said that you have illegals that are taking spots for American citizens to work and do the things that they want to do.
Dude, he's nodding. Dude, now, again, I don't want to put down the job, okay? But, like, I don't know a single American citizen who wants to be a fucking, a seasonal farm worker. Not one, right? Not one person wants to be a, you know what I mean? I mean, there's a fairly, like, good chance that, like, a lot of those immigrants doing that job don't even want to do that job. Like, let's be real, okay? The reason why those people are here is because nobody wanted to do those jobs, okay? And some people showed up that said, we'll do them. And we were like, fuck yeah, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, for me, I would far more want to reward the people willing to do the job than, and yes, Limitless is from Failure Looks So Good. And Afterglow is from the other, those are the two records. Yeah. So I think we should be rewarding the people that are willing to do that work, you know? And I mean, dude, the trades shit is like crazy too, because like particularly, I don't know what it's like here, but one of the things here is that with concrete, okay, if you go to Mexico, all of the houses in Mexico are made of concrete, okay? And a lot of South America, they make houses out of concrete, okay, because of the heat and the weather. So the people, the immigrants coming from Mexico and South America, these guys are like fucking artists, bro. They're so good with concrete. You know what I'm saying? They're so good with concrete. And you can't just go get a fucking concrete worker. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just a white dude who's like unemployed or whatever in Nebraska, you can't go out and just become a concrete guy. You're not going to go out there and start doing driveways and shit. It takes years to develop those skills. Like fucking years, bro. And those guys are artisans. Another thing they're really good at is fucking a lot of guys drywall. Like, oh my God, dude, they're like so good at it. They're so fucking good at it. And instead of rewarding them for their talent, like we're fucking upset. And I think somebody hit the nail on the head, because the real problem here, guys, is not about the jobs. Okay, the real problem here is that these white Republican motherfuckers, they don't like that these guys send money back to their families. That's what the real problem is. They don't like people coming to America and then sending money back to their families in Mexico, or back to their families in fucking Peru, or back to their families in Nicaragua. That's really what it's about. Okay. They don't like that. They don't like the fact that like people are financing their extended family in other countries, that they're coming here and like working, but they're like, dude, they're providing us a service. You know what I'm saying? They're providing us a service. They're so like, I don't know, dude. Yeah, I know. I don't care. But these guys, they're trying to like, they don't want us helping anybody. Okay. Like these guys, these Republican guys look at the whole world as like freeloaders off of America. All right. That's how they look at it. They think the whole world is freeloading off of America. And so they want everybody else to pay a price to like interact with America. That's really, right, what it's about. You know, They're like, ooh, you're a freeloader. You're a freeloader. It is a scam, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking, the whole thing is a con, bro. You know, it's fucking brutal, dude.
So I think you will see that continue as more and more illegals are deported from our nation. It'll give the opportunity for more citizens of our country to take these jobs.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, dude. Dude, there is no, like, none of these American dudes are gonna go out and become fucking first-rate concrete people, right? Or they're not gonna become fucking expert drywallers. I mean, if they invest 15 years in the trade, they will. But, like, dude, so dumb, bro. You know what I'm saying? So fucking dumb, dude. These guys, they're clowns, you know? Clown world. Dude, I always look at these to see if I see any new pictures. Oh, I don't recognize that one, dude. That picture? That's a new one. I don't think I've seen that one. Dude, this is crazy. Dude, look at these numbers. Okay? Look at these numbers. This is from a couple days ago. Look at that shit. Okay? Epstein files should be released. MAGA Republicans, 82%. Republicans, 83%. Independents, 86%. Democrats, 90%. This is like fucking unity right there, bro. Oh, shit. That's a hell of a hoax. Right? Oh, shit. Dude, that's insane. You never see people fucking in that much agreement. Dude. All of it. Dude, all of it. I want to see it all come out. I mean, why not, dude? Dude, this shit is so cheesy. Look at the fucking White House, dude. What is with all this gold cheesy shit, dude? Dude, have you noticed the White House looks like fucking, it looks like a cross between Mar-a-Lago and Saudi Arabia now? Dude, that shit is crazy, bro. It's so shitty. Good night, boss. Yeah, dude, the MAGA Christians are terrible.
This morning, you mentioned past supporters when you were talking about the Epstein issue. Does that mean that you're effectively disowning any supporters who are now?
I lost a lot of faith in certain people. Yeah, I lost because they got duped by the Democrats.
Dude, I've lost faith in certain people. I remember that. That was from fucking a while ago. I've lost faith in certain people because, dude, and this is the thing too, right? Is DC, like, let's be real, guys. Look at this. This is DC crime. You ready? You know, they're talking about, right? They're talking about, you know, the National Guard in DC, and he wants to lock down DC. But look at the violent crime in 2025. It is lower than when Trump was president. Far lower. Okay? It is been at a lower point in 2025 than it has in years. It was never this low when Trump was, right? When Trump was fucking president. But the whole National Guard shit, it's all just more spectacle. More fucking nonsense. Right? How do they distinguish MAGA Republicans? They probably have a question there. Like, do you consider yourself to be a Republican or a MAGA Republican? An independent or a Democrat? Right? I'm sure it's just self-described. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Crime has never been this low. It's been at a huge decline. Now, there was a huge spike in 2023 All right. It looks like there was a huge fucking spike, robberies and carjackings. And you definitely noticed some spikes during the pandemic eras, right? I'm sure a lot of this has to be, you know, a lot of, obviously during the pandemic and the period after the pandemic, like crime spiked, which is normal. I mean, it's normal. The uncertainty, the fucking, you know, you end up going into debt, you lose money, you get behind. There's always like, yeah, crime spike when people are desperate, you know. I mean, it's sad. It sucks. I mean, if they keep shattering education, it's only going to get worse. The less education you have, the more crime there is. But like, dude, yeah, dude, he's so smarmy, dude. Dude, Trump, so fucking smarmy. Dude, things I believe. I mean, dude, this guy, this shit looks a lot accurate, right? That assassination attempt definitely looked faked. I mean, they definitely monetized the election. Dude, this one in particular, Trump isn't just on the list. He helped curate it. I think he did. I mean, the more I research this, guys, the more that I think that Trump was a central, like, trafficker on a much more scandalous level. That Epstein was like a sex addicted guy trying to be like Donald Trump and John Casablancas and, you know, Jean-Luc Brunel. I think Epstein was trying to be like them, but Epstein was also a sex fiend who was like way more about like less worried about getting caught. You know what I mean? He was more about his urges, whereas Trump was like more about like, you know, making sure that it never gets back to him. You know, what's the Princess Diana stuff? Oh, shit. They're saying that she was maybe killed because she was like on to Prince Andrew and shit. He bombarded Diana at Kensington with massive fucking... Dude, it's really weird, right? You know what's weird? Is like, remember when we talked about Sarah Kellen, right? You remember Sarah Kellen, okay? Epstein's lieutenant. Her new name was Sarah Kensington. Isn't that weird? And he bombarded Diana at Kensington with massive bouquets, right? And Sarah Kellen, Epstein's lieutenant, after she got immunity, she used Kensington as her last name. It's pretty weird, right? He clearly saw Diana as the ultimate trophy wife. As the roses and orchids piled up at her apartment, she became increasingly concerned about what she should do. It had begun to feel as if Trump was stalking her. But Diana did not view Trump in the same way she viewed the softer Teddy Forceman. Over dinner, she told Selena Scott, "He gives me the creeps." Right? Absolutely. Dude, he is so creepy, dude. You think Princess Diana's the mother of Barron? Nah, I'm not buying that. So is there some video about Trump and Diana? Oh, shit. Trump stalked Princess Diana? All right.
Donald Trump, Jeffrey
Jesus.
Epstein,
Sorry, guys.
Princess Diana, Prince Andrew.
That shit was fucking booming. My bad. I got to watch the fucking volume control. Hold on. All right. Dude, Trump is so gross, dude. He is, dude.
Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell, what sordid webs they weave. Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, Princess Diana, Prince Andrew, Ghislaine Maxwell, what sordid webs they weave. Michael Wolff, Donald Trump's former biographer, and Michael Wolff, who is going to potentially be the biographer of Epstein, reveals shocking new details to the Midas Touch Network about how Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were having a friendly bet amongst each other, a disgusting and grotesque bet about which one of them would be able to have sex with Princess Diana first after her separation and divorce from now King Charles. Donald Trump and Epstein, according to Michael Wolff, were absolutely obsessed by the royal family. And Michael Wolff talks about how one of the things Epstein told him as well was that Trump and Epstein created something called a quote-unquote 𝗙ecie committee. And as part of this, they tried to figure out ways to get girls over to Prince Andrew. And ultimately, Ghislaine Maxwell was the intermediary to the royal family in the United Kingdom based on her
so
connections.
gnarly,
Her father
dude.
was Robert Maxwell, a very connected individual who ended up dying, falling off his yacht
Dude,
called the
falling
Lady
off his
Ghislaine
yacht.
while he was urinating allegedly. And then he got into his family, then discovered, and the world discovered that Robert Maxwell was a total fraud, stealing money from pension funds. And
dude, yeah, her dad like had looted money. Dude, he was like involved in so much scammy financial shit, and then he just fell off his yacht. Like, yeah, that's realistic.
Bankrupting his family, but Ghislaine had these connections because her dad was the guy who owned all of these media companies in the UK, and so she would be the link between Trump and Epstein and the royal family. And Trump and Epstein were obsessed with the royal family, Michael Wolff says, and part of the 𝗙cie committee was getting Prince Andrew these women or girls and getting Prince Andrew money because they said Andrew struggled with money. I mean, you see this photo right here of Andrew and Virginia Giuffre.
By the way, this is in Andrew's house. This photo is actually his house. I found out that this photo was taken. This is Prince Andrew's house. So it's like, we don't know who took the photo, but we know it's actually in his fucking residence.
Giuffre died by suicide in Australia recently, and she sued Prince Andrew as well when she was an underage girl, alleging that that Prince Andrew sexually assaulted her as an underage girl. That,
by the way, I would like to show you this picture because there is another photo where we have this one, okay, which is worth looking at, which is Prince Andrew, Melania, and Epstein, and then I can't remember her name. She is what's her name? That is fucking oh dude, they don't say her name. I can't remember her name. Let me find her name. She's like somebody who's well known for being involved in these sex parties. Gwendolyn Beck. That's who it is. Gwendolyn Beck. She was well known to be a swinger, involved in sex parties and shit. Dude, they're all deeply connected. And Trump's like, oh, I don't know who Prince Andrew is. It's like, please. They're all in the same circle.
Case resulted in a resolution. You see behind her Ghislaine Maxwell right there as well. You know, just interesting too when you think about it. I mean, Donald Trump had recently posted back in March that he would love the United States to become part of the British Commonwealth. Donald Trump responded to some odd story by The Sun in the UK that said that there was a secret offer made by King Charles for Donald Trump to make the United States part of the Commonwealth. And Donald Trump said, "I love King Charles. Sounds good to me." You also go back and you take a look at like the Sunday Mirror from November 23rd, 1997. And this talks about how Ghislaine Maxwell was going around bringing young girls or young women, it says, to Donald Trump. Let me just give you the specific language right there. Several American millionaires already had this one young woman on her side, but she was there.
Yeah, remember... We read some of this article in that 3 video series I did about the Epstein timeline. And this was a model that Trump was like, he's had a long history of being very stalkery with women, where he decides he wants some woman and then he's like constantly pursuing them and moving on them like a bitch, as he might say. Right.
With Robert Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine, who has introduced several of her attractive friends to the property developer, referring to Donald Trump. You see this photo right here of Donald Trump and Princess Diana.
Dude, yeah, she does not look... Dude, she looks like, please get me out of here. Right? Dude.
Back in 1995, Donald Trump subsequently wrote that Diana was trying to kiss his ass. Donald Trump put that in a book. Diana wanted to kiss my ass. He said, let me bring in Michael Wolff, who's got this exclusive report here on the Midas Touch Network about what he knows as the Pussy Committee, the relationship with Prince Andrew, what was taking place there. Let's bring in Wolff.
One of the many things that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump had in common was their obsession with the royal family. At one point in the mid-90s, after Diana and Charles's marriage started to fall apart, Trump and Epstein had a bet with each other about who could sleep with Diana first. I don't know, by the way, if either of them ever won that bet. There was a point at which Epstein was asked to be the guy. Apparently, this was a thing, like a job, a position, who would slip into the seat next to Diana at certain functions when whoever she was with got up, so she could never be seated next to an empty chair. And when Epstein got this job, he bickered with Trump about who wanted the introductions to also get this job. Epstein wouldn't give it to him. What they understood, and many people have understood this before them, is that the royal family was one of the great social climbing vectors in the world. If you were involved with the royal family, engaged with the royal family, familiar to the royal family, able to bring the members of the royal family with you, all doors opened. You could have access to anyone you wanted to have access to. This was this raised both your stature and the possibilities in your life. So here were these two guys.
Yeah, it's weird how much like power and family name and old money, right? How much that stuff plays into, you know, these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much in the old money world. There's a lot of, you know, family name and leveling. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty wild how they fucking jockey for this shit.
Vulgarians who, by this in part because of their connection to the royal family, suddenly had access to all of the status and all of the financial circles of the world. I mean, here
a lot of money.
We're two guys, and again we have to ask this question: how?
And it like legitimizes you, right? Like, for example, if you're connected to the royal family, you are legitimized in a whole like social stratum where you are now, right? I mean, that's kind of the way these old money wealth circles work, is everybody's a gatekeeper. You can't get in there. And there's like levels, right? Like somebody could be very big amongst the billionaires here, but the royal family won't have anything to do with you. And so then you're out over there across the pond. But if the royal family is like in your circle, then now you're legitimized to a whole nother like level of people. And you know, I don't know, it seemed like they were, you know, Trump was always trying to get involved in social stratums. You know, he was always trying to move in circles, and a lot of times he couldn't get in. Like one example is he wanted to be in the NFL Owners Club, and they wouldn't let him buy a team. Okay? They wouldn't. They would not let him buy a team, and they wouldn't let him in that club. And he was so fucking pissed that then he bought a USFL team, and then he convinced the USFL to try and challenge the NFL, and it ended up bankrupting the whole league. Like he ruined the league trying to be petty because the NFL like owners club wouldn't let him in. And a lot of like upper crust people like wouldn't let Trump in because he was so uncouth and dirty and unscrupulous. I mean, he did better with like the mob and the Russian oligarchs. Like he always did better in circles where everyone were total fucking degenerates. You know what I mean? Like in the really like, I don't know, all the social stratums that required respect and where you had to respect the fucking social structure, he would always get refused from those. And he was like very bitter about it. He was very bitter and petty about like getting excluded.
Did they do it? How did Epstein, who came from nowhere, how did Trump, who came through bankruptcy after bankruptcy, how did both of these guys yet become figures in the world? I mean, figures of enormous wealth and standing. The agent of their royal family plan was Ghislaine Maxwell, with her deep connections throughout British society.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like Ghislaine Maxwell was like, she was between her and her father. You know what I'm saying? Like she was the connection. Ghislaine, which is crazy because I remember when Ghislaine ended up getting locked up, at first I was kind of upset by it. I was like, I can't believe that Epstein has a sex ring and there's a woman in prison for it. But the more research I've done, the more I realized that Ghislaine was the access. She was the one who had the levers of all the power. Okay? She was literally the unifying force. Like even with, you know, Jean-Luc Brunel, all of the royalty or the big money in fucking, you know, Cambridge and in England and in Europe, like she was the international connection. She was the woman that could get into any room, right? Anywhere they wanted to infiltrate, any level of society that they wanted to get into, Ghislaine had access to. She was like the socialite that could get into any space, okay? She could. She was like, you know, like Epstein was kind of like a smarmy player. Trump was a gaudy, wealthy dude that everybody didn't like. And Ghislaine Maxwell was like the smooth socialite daughter of this like extraordinarily connected and wealthy, powerful man from a very powerful fucking family. It was like really like she was the glue that held the whole enterprise together, man.
The plan for both Epstein and Trump, this was their mutual plan, was to focus on Prince Andrew and to ply him with girls for which he had an insatiable appetite, and money, which he was always short of and in desperate need for. Now, this is a key issue right now in the way the White House is looking at the Epstein scandal. The fear is that Ghislaine Maxwell can tie Donald Trump to the details of what Trump and Epstein called the 𝗙cie Committee.
Yeah, dude, he does talk really slow, doesn't he? It's like, dude, like, speed it up there, homie. I mean, I get it. He's very measured because he doesn't want to, like, he's very careful about his word choice and shit. But, like, yeah, it is like, dude, it is like David Pakman, right? This is David Pakman when he's fucking 60, right? Oh, shit, dude.
The 𝗙cie Committee consisted of Trump and Epstein in their efforts to get girls for Prince Andrew.
Oh, yikes. So they were trying to ply Prince Andrew to get, like, into the royal family.
Let me step back because I think that this is incredibly important, a historic note to focus on this word 𝗙cie, a word that they use constantly and casually and meaningfully.
Yeah, grab them by the...
This was their currency and reward. It was how they saw the world.
Yeah.
This was...
I mean, it was also like... At least Donald Trump, his entire identity was wrapped into this idea of like his value being tied to getting some, right? Whether he was actually getting some or whether he was just disobeying her lack of consent and just taking some and getting away with it because of his fame or his monetary connections. But his whole identity was like, about like smarming. And particularly, I saw somebody say it in chat earlier, particularly he tried to go after married women to like, as like an ego thing. If there was a guy that was more successful than him or was more respected than him, he would try to sabotage that guy's relationship and try to either hook up with her or force himself on her to where she was now in an uncomfortable situation where she didn't feel like she could tell her husband about it, right? Whether she was like, like preyed upon, or he might think she did it of her own volition. He would try to like destroy people's families and shit. Like he was just a profoundly despicable and harm-causing man. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to like cause harm. He's always done that. If he doesn't like someone or feels insecure about them, he wants to like cause as much harm to them as possible. He's really vindictive and nasty.
Their point of power and a point of leverage. Girls. But somehow something different by using the word pussy. Coupled with Prince Andrew, what this added up to for both men was status, wealth, influence, and royal entitlement. Again, how did these two men, Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, come to be what they are?
Dude, I think it's the power tripping. It's like ego, you know? It's like ego, dude. It's power. It all of this, you know, the young girls and shit. It's all power. It's like, dude, Adrian, let's go. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. You know what it is? It really is, guys. It's like a lot of these guys, they get sort of famous and they get that power. They get in that set of like the big money, and then they realize that they're in that world where now everybody's worried about the damage the powerful person can cause. So there's this, you know, when they ask somebody to do something, the people feel like they can't say no. Thank you, Lila. All right, we got 4 minutes. Looks like we got 2 left, 2 more. You know what I mean? And I think they get off on that. They get off on being able to do something to women. No, we need 2 more. To do something to women and the women not being able to say no, right? The fact that, right, if they have the modeling agency and they bring those models out and the model knows that her career is dependent upon pleasing these guys so they can put her in an uncomfortable situation and she can't say no, right? And the power is like more tantalizing than the situation, you know, it's like not even about the sex or whatever. It's about the power over them. It's so gross, dude. It's gross. There it is, Grant.
Prince Andrew and pussy start to explain a lot.
There you have it, folks. Powerful reporting there by Michael Wolff. We will keep you posted.
Dude, Midas Touch really loves Michael Wolff, dude. They love him, bro.
Again, every step of the way here on the Midas Touch Network. I think that definitely adds some new details out there. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million.
Let's go, dude. Dude, yeah, that shit is wacky, bro. It is, dude. This stuff is so wacky. Dude, like, this is so crazy. Look at this shit. So Denise George says, this is an article, dude. Denise George says NDAs prevent former Epstein employees from speaking. One told her he saw Prince Andrew on a balcony out at Little St. James groping girls right out in the open. Okay? This has been a crazy fucking situation. Vanity Fair has done some decent coverage of this. They kind of laundered Epstein's reputation. We're going to look at that, I think, tomorrow. We're going to look at that Vanity Fair article by Amy Ward. I think Ward, what is it? Vicky Ward? Yeah, Vicky Ward. Okay, and there was some tussle about, like, she wrote a piece about Jeffrey Epstein, and then she met Maria and Annie Farmer before that piece came out. And you know, was maybe some sabotage of either Vicky Ward or the editor of Vanity Fair. Vicky blamed it on the editor of Vanity Fair, but some people have seen Vicky Ward's emails and seen that, like, yeah, no, Vicky Ward left it out of her article. Yeah, there's just so many people that are covering for these guys. And there's layers of NDAs, and there are, you know what I'm saying? There's like layers of NDAs. There are people like covering for them. There are people that are simply just afraid to speak up because they don't want to end up falling off their yacht or falling down the stairs, or, you know what I mean? There's a lot of like death going around here. But look at this. This was from 2020. Attorneys for the estate of Jeffrey Epstein are attempting to hide his assets and cover up his crimes, according to the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands. So this guy dies, okay, in 2019. And this was before Ghislaine Maxwell got prosecuted. And Jeffrey Epstein's attorneys were covering up his tracks and hiding his assets after he was dead. That's unusual, guys. You know what I'm saying? After the kingpin dies, nobody's covering up at that point, right? Why are they covering up after Jeffrey was dead? Because Jeffrey was not like the whole package, you know? You know what I'm saying? That's why. In an exclusive interview with Vanity Fair, Attorney General Denise George, the Attorney General of the U.S. Virgin Islands, accuses the estate of using non-disclosure agreements with Epstein's victims and former employees to conceal the criminal activity of Epstein and his associates who are still there. Last month, George, who was Miss Virgin Islands in 1977, attended the Howard University School of Law and returned to spend decades as a successful prosecutor, also placed liens on the estate in order to make sure his victims receive their due. If he owns anything else that's not connected on here, then we will have no jurisdiction. Okay? As the investigation continues, we will find that out. But as of now, as far as what's in the estate, it appears to be a well-substantial amount is connected to his entities right here in the Virgin Islands. That's where Little St. James was. But yeah, man, there is some connection, like something far bigger than Jeffrey himself. And that's where you know that like Trump is involved. Because think about this, guys. Trump is a degenerate. Trump is a clown, but Trump is connected to the mob. Trump is connected to Russian mafia. Trump is connected to Israel, right? Through Jared Kushner, who is a family friend of Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump is connected to Saudi Arabia. Okay, Trump is like, there's a reason why Trump was able to become president, guys. And that's because he is connected to a large crime syndicate that is global, where in order for them, like making sure he always has access to money, he will there's no level of degeneracy that he won't engage in. And he, you know, he has no scruples. You know what I'm saying? None, dude. The people who worked on Epstein's island tended to his various companies such as Southern Trust, drove his boats, piloted his planes, etc. Probably know more about Epstein's activities than anyone else. And all are likely bound by non-disclosure agreements. An employee told me he saw Prince Andrew on a balcony out at Little St. James groping girls right out in the open. He said he remembered walking up to him and saying, "Good morning, Your Highness." Prince Andrew has denied any knowledge of Epstein's systematic and long-running abuse of underage girls. But accusations against friends and associates of Epstein's are impossible to investigate unless the estate agrees to release former employees from NDAs. They were required to sign when they went to work. See, I don't see how the NDAs would still work if the guy's dead. The guy was, right? The guy is a convicted predator. He's under investigation. He's dead. All these NDAs should be voided, right? There's no fucking way. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? There's no fucking way, boss, right? They were required to sign when they went to work for him on his island, okay? They have to be allowed to speak up. Dude, I don't think NDAs should be allowed when there's sex crimes and crimes against children and shit, you know? Like, dude, the shit is so gnarly. Like, NDAs are used to, like, allow men to get away with rape. You know what I mean? You know? NDAs can't be used to cover crimes. Yeah, but so Brutus, the thing about the NDAs is they can't be used to cover crimes, but the employees didn't commit the crimes, right? You know what I'm saying? The employees got signed up to, right? So now, and then it's also like actively seeing a crime, okay? like somebody groping somebody in public is not technically a crime unless the person charges the groper with a crime, right? You know what I mean? So it gets complicated to what actually a crime is. Like, for example, if an employee saw Jeffrey Epstein hold somebody down and sexually abuse them, yes, that NDA is now null and void. But if Jeffrey Epstein took a woman into a room and the woman comes out crying and says she was raped, right? That's now a gray area because that's not actually a crime yet. Right? You know, it's like it's so like smarmy. And the thing that's really hard with sexual abuse and rape in general is there's usually not a witness. It's a witnessless crime, right? And so in Jeffrey Epstein's case, it was always like, you know, a 15-year-old girl that's getting money from them from a trailer park versus the guy who manages a billionaire's fortune. And we all know in the fucking law, in the law room, which one of those two people is going to be believed, right? Stormy fought the NDA and won. Yeah, but Stormy is a very different, you know, she's a force to be reckoned with, you know? I mean, you know what I mean? But these people, some of these people are like employees of Jeffrey Epstein that, let's be honest, they're probably more worried about getting killed, okay? I think, right, Stormy's not afraid of a threat to her life, but somebody who was a groundskeeper on Little St. James, they're probably worried about getting killed. Like Stormy Daniels is way more high profile and has a protection mechanism, all right? In addition, George says Epstein's estate is proposed creating a fund that would compensate his victims only if they agree not to sue anyone with his crimes. This is another thing these guys did. They have more money than God, okay? So they have access to payoff funds. Yes, how much do you want? You want 5 million? 10 million? You just got to not sue, right? And if you're broke and you have no justice and you're traumatized, $10 million is like, that's you and your family's life forever, right? You never have to struggle again. And all you have to do is not create, right? It gets hard, man. If you're struggling, you're a woman who was raped and you know what I mean? And like you and your family can be set forever. And all you have to do is just take that rape with you to the therapist, you know? It's like, it's hard. It's easy. Like, I understand why sometimes people that are in compromised situations fucking get, you know, like, I don't know. I think sometimes it's understandable if people take the payoff, you know? You know what I'm saying? Because the alternative is, yeah, you get no money, you get attacked, you get threatened with death, you don't get believed, you get frustrated, right? Everybody hates you. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, man. You know, you figure a lot of them, no one's going to believe you anyway. At least this way you get something for the pain, you know, and you can get all the therapy you want and your kids are going to never have a worry, you know? I mean, I understand it. It's a tough choice. You know, it's a tough choice that like you have to make between seeking justice or seeking like, you know, being a provider for your family, you know? Yeah. I mean, there are instances where I can totally understand why people take the payoff. It's, you know, so a lot of therapy, a lot of healing can be had with that money, you know? And when in fact, like, what are they going to get if they file suit? They're going to get nothing, right? They're going to get churned through a system that's not going to believe them, you know? It's common practice. See, here's what's interesting, right? This is what's crazy. It's common practice if you settle a claim with the other party, you do not file any claims against that party, which would be the estate, but to expand it to include his friends. So this is what's crazy is they set up compensation, but then you can't sue anybody, right? They set up the compensation fund, but now you have to like even the compensation fund is set up to protect the perpetrators of the crimes. Okay, they're trying to protect their friends. Attorneys for the estate have argued they're trying to ensure that Epstein's victims are compensated quickly and fairly, right? But they're really out there to protect the predators. Dude, you know Dershowitz was a fucking predator, dude. I just know that guy was a pred, dude. He looks like one. He feels like one, right? Right? Yeah, this shit is so dirty. So dirty. According to the attorneys for the estate, all right, the Epstein's assets were valued somewhere between $578 and $635 million. Dude, $500 million. That's insane. And that's not counting what they're hiding. You know they hid so much, right? In Epstein's will, he bequeathed his property to the acting trustees of the 1953 trust. But thus far, members of this trust remain a mystery as their names on documents submitted to the AG's office and probate court were redacted. So we don't even know who's on, right? We don't even know who's on the trust for this. Epstein's attorney, 𝗙ecie𝗶𝗆𝗆 Virgin Islands law firm, is in charge of the estate. 𝗙ecie had dealings with Epstein going all the way back to 2011 when she handled the ownership transfer of L Brand's billionaire Leslie Wexner's Upper East Side mansion to an entity controlled by Epstein. She's also secretary and treasury of Epstein's Gratitude America charity. So everybody like connected to him is dirty. She was secretary, treasurer, and trustee of the J. Epstein Virgin Islands Foundation. What a conflict of interest to be the law firm in charge of the estate and to be the treasurer of all these other entities associated with it. And there's no official inventory of what is included in the estate. Estate attorneys initially asserted Epstein was not the sole owner of the vast fortune. They attested he was merely a shareholder, right? And then later on, they said, no, he was the owner. They're like trying to hide his assets. Like, God, dude. So Epstein's tax attorney has a financial interest in the company used by Epstein to purchase the island. So there's like conflicts of interest all over the place. Dude, it's so gnarly. You know what I mean? And so this is one of the things that's just really problematic. And especially when you go out to like the Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, they have like shell companies and offshore companies. You know what I mean? Yeah. Dude, yeah, no, the Heritage Foundation is the same way. They're all like secret societies of hidden money that is like funneled through all these like shell companies and like dark money things that you don't even know who's like funding this shit. And you know what I mean? Dude, yeah, think tanks, please. It's all like money laundering is what it is, man. And now crypto makes it so like, dude, it makes it so easy, dude. Dude, shit is crazy. Dude, yeah. See, I feel like, here's my thing, is I feel like all of these NDAs need to be gone. Okay? The non-prosecution agreement with fucking the Epstein NPA. I keep forgetting the names. It's Adriana Ross. Okay. And Sarah Kellen and fucking Nadia Marcinkova and Leslie Groff. See, these women, I think these women and that non-prosecution agreement from Alex Acosta, that thing should be voided. Okay? That thing should be voided because Jeffrey Epstein very clearly after that agreement went back to the island and was participating in more sex crimes, which obviously after he had been convicted was like a breaching of the agreement. And I know that this thing should be so voided. Like these women, these 4 women hold a lot of the keys. So does Ghislaine Maxwell, right? So do those fucking legal entities over in the Virgin Islands, whoever those redacted names are on his trust, the 1953 trust, all of this shit. Yeah, dude, all of this shit should be like fucking nixed, nulled, voided, right? Dude, we didn't get to the GOP pastor, that Doug Wilson guy. I want to watch him, but I got to go tonight. I got to get some videos. You know, I got to get some videos done and sort of, I got behind on the content to go to the Mariners game. I can't stay up all night. Wait. Tomorrow we're going to be at a much better schedule. We're going to be back at a normal time. I'm going to try and get on at 10. I really want to go 10 to 1, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. I feel like that would be a prime 3 hours. And yeah, so we're going to do the dance party because we got that, dude. We're going to go out with our dance party. Let's fucking go, baby. Thank you, guys. I love me a dance party. Yeah, dude, he did. He broke his non-prosecution agreement. The problem with the NPA was there was some stipulation in there of a time frame with which if he broke it, you could void that agreement. But I feel like, man, sex crimes against minors, like, come on, man. If we're not going to void shit for that, like, we need better laws. Our laws are designed to protect abusers, dude, in every way, shape, and form. And I'm tired of it, dude. I want laws that, like, protect the fucking victims, you know? Fuck laws protecting the abusers. It's like a constant with us. All right, you ready? Let's get some fucking dance on, baby. We're gonna dance under the light. We're having our dance party in edit mode, baby. All right, you ready? Dude, I don't know how I'm gonna summon energy, boss. I don't know how I'm going to summon energy after the day, dude. I slept 4 hours, drove to Seattle, had a game, drove back, slept 2 hours. Here we are. Let's go, baby. A little deja vu.
They have a lot to say, but I don't know. Been
I'm out of breath, baby. Whoa. Oh, 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 oh. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You're alright, goodbye then, if you dare.
Someone new is pulling everywhere. I'm afraid to let them. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away.
Let's go!
Nothing is what I think.
I will drown in pain. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pain. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. Nothing is what I think.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause I will drown in pink. Woo! Dude. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys. Good night.
Hey, I just want to change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't want to hang around. I'd rather be found. It gets better. I wonder my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. Hey, I just want to change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down. I'd rather be found. It gets better.